Good morning, everybody. Colombian coffee. I love it. So nice. Happy Sunday. Played volleyball this morning. Today, keen to talk about productivity. The factors you can control within the organization. I'm not going to touch on external factors. So there are 4 drivers for productivity. The first one, clarity. Are we working on the right things? And are we able to maintain that clarity as we're going forward? Second one is speed, being able to accelerate the work, getting quicker at it, better and better. Thirdly, innovation, part of creating speed, evolving as we learn, making sure we're doing it smarter and better all the time. And then lastly, of course, culture. The most important asset is people. How do we build the ability of our people to go forward and be resilient as things change? So interesting for me, these 4 drivers are the architecture behind StratApp when you think about it. So if we overlay the features of StratApp, they really sit around these 4 drivers of productivity. And I love in the Philippines how they wish you, as part of greeting, to wish you to have a productive day is part of a common greeting in the Philippines, as well as wishing that you eat well during the day. It's such a nice thing. And yeah, this focus on productivity and being productive is just part of the culture there. So this is important at an individual level, at a team level, multiple teams, or if you're running the company. And I won't talk through all the features in StratApp. I just want to give you a flavor for how it really is driving productivity. And it's been like that from the design, from the outset. So on clarity, you've got the Simon Sinek layout, the why, why are we here, direction, Roger Martin. And then the strategy is on the strategy tree. So, and then when you go to objectives and key results, OKRs, what are we going to execute this month and quarter? That balance between working on strategy and working on OKRs is in the app. And I often hear CEOs who are critical of the OKR framework saying, well, it makes people too short term, so they lose focus on strategy, or we take our eye off moving forward on strategy whilst we just try and execute these short-term objectives. So by design, StratApp addresses that problem. So you're working on both at the same time. So the strategy tree, goals, sub-goals, sub-actions, they are live and interactive. So there's a workspace at each node in the tree, and then the OKRs are hanging off that, right? So you can still work and move forward on the strategy, and you set the horizon. So for some companies, it's 1 year to 3 years. Some it's 5 to 10, just depends on country and culture. Actually, I noticed within companies. So the fact that you can do both, super powerful. And then the work cascades. So when we talk about speed, tasks and projects, workboards, everything else, it's all cascading. That content is coming down off the strategy and the objectives. So that's a beautiful thing. You're not running off to work in different places. So why is that important? If you join a team, you're new to a company, your speed of onboarding, the time that you can get up to speed to add value, is rapidly reduced because all of the work's taking place in this content hierarchy. It's not hanging off chat channels, which are membership based and managed, and you can't have access unless you're in that channel. It's all transparent and hanging off the same framework. So it's designed to be org-wide and productive out of the box. That's the app. And all of these modules you see on the screen, they're all pre-configured. You don't have to create them. So it's all pre-configured and it just hangs, and the content's created based on how you're working. It's done automatically. Conversations are all up, and the conversations, social around work and structure, it has decision-making built in, right? So request decision, request approval, note this, identify a risk. So you're pulling risks and ideas straight up out of those social conversations to go into the risk management module, which I mentioned at the top, or the ideas module I mentioned down here under innovation. And of course, you can also run challenges in the app to crowdsource new ideas. So you're pulling ideas straight out of all the conversations with the context, but you can also proactively go out and run competitions or requests for new ideas to solve problems, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the innovation piece. So this way of working, where everything's connected and transparent, new staff are up to speed super quick, remote staff feel more connected. So we're all going to, cross-border teams or hybrid working in multiple locations, workcations, work from anywhere. I love it. So StratApp keeps all of that together again, because, think about apps traditionally in the collaboration space. They're really designed around chat channels and small teams and conversations around that, right? So you lose track of this big picture and how everything is hanging together and what the conversations are pointing at. And StratApp has tackled that head on with this design of everything pre-configured for you, and then hierarchy driving off the clarity. Where are we heading? Why are we working faster? Because we know where we're heading, we've got clarity. And then we're innovating within that framework. You just see it all in one place. And that really is what drives the productivity, but also has this spillover effect of helping all the things we need to do on culture, because people feel engaged and connected and involved in the strategy and the evolution of the strategy, and can also help and contribute to what other people are working on like never before. You don't have to be a member of the chat channel, right? Because the work is all like the hierarchy and where we're heading is all laid out, and you can participate at your will. And what we find is for the next generation, millennials, who are getting older, right? But they're still young, and they are 75% of the workforce within 2 years from now. So we've got to really think about the way we work. You know, they're not into emails and lots of meetings and, you know, that traditional micromanagement framework that some of us grew up in. They're really about meaningful context and seeing how their role contributes to the bigger picture, but also being able to learn more and get involved in other aspects of the company. And it's not something to curtail, it's something to really encourage and flourish, because I think that's how you build culture for this next generation. So this way of working does fuel engagement, meaningful context, and of course, transparency and accountability just flows from it, because you're all working in the one framework. We're not running off to different apps and places or locking down the details of execution somewhere where you can't see it. It's all there. The app does have security, because some things you do need to lock down, but because the default framework is all around, it's called Visible, actually, it's all around transparency, and it's all designed out of the box to hang everything together in one place, then it naturally creates transparency and accountability, almost to the point where we find if you're going to make something confidential, you almost have to justify, hey, why are we locking this down? Is it really, is there really a need to lock this down? Because you want to move to this culture of innovation and transparency, because that's where you create the drivers here on the screen. And then lastly, I'll mention, so key to productivity is you can have all of this sorted at a team and a company level, but at the end of the day, the individual really needs to create that optimized use of time and work-life balance. So the app brings everything on this page into one little framework for the individual. And it actually also pulls in your personal calendar, your personal to-dos, your work calendar, your work to-dos, your work priorities, and your personal priorities. It gives you one single view of that, and then automatically creates the day for you. Beautiful. So based on what you're trying to achieve, when you're going to finish tonight or this afternoon, what your capacity is, and then it automatically schedules that work around your calendar events. So really great for getting this work-life balance. Work's not sort of taking over and catching up on you. You're in control right from the beginning of the day. So you can be proactive around making sure that you defer something or delegate it or get help with it, rather than just trying to work really hard and then finding, 5 o'clock, you still got another 3 hours work to do. And then that starts to impact exercise, healthy eating, time with loved ones, recreation, etc. So also built into the app. And then we just went live 2 weeks ago, I think, with the sharing aspect of that. So you can opt in and share that picture with your colleagues, and it removes personal to-dos, personal calendar events. And it's just sharing that, hey, this is my day. This is how it's laid out. I've got these work calendar events. Here are my priorities. And then it's automatically planned. The app has planned my day for me. And then you have that shared view and you can see it on one page for your colleagues. And it just makes daily huddles so great, right? You're not listening to all that verbiage. You just see it. And then the conversation in the huddle goes straight to, hey, how can we help each other? I'm at 60% capacity today, so I got spare capacity. You're at 120, you're maxed out. Some of those things you're planning to do, I could help with. How about, we do this? And that's how the huddle conversation goes straight away. And it's kind of based on data and real picture rather than verbally trying to interpret that, which is super hard, particularly when you're in different locations or working from home some days and so forth. Beautiful picture. And also you can see everyone's progress, and it also presents that shared view in that local time zone. So you can see how each person's planned their day in that local time zone. It's really powerful. And again, all about building culture, collaboration, and working around the bigger picture. So there you go. 4 drivers of productivity. Apologies for talking so much. I'm passionate about this topic. I think this is a whole key to creating value and driving, progress in a company is to bring these 4 drivers together. And to have it in one experience is just so exciting. And the app has been getting better and better based on customer feedback and customer ideas. Now more so than our own, to be honest. And that sharing module, we didn't think of that. We always wanted to do the productivity for the individual, work-life balance, and that piece. We always had that in mind. And then as soon as we started socializing that, everyone was saying, hey, why don't you open this up? Opt-in sharing, just remove the personal stuff so people can share their day in a way that lays it out for a team. So yeah, that came from customers, not from us, and super proud, to have that live and to be able to share it. So the other thing to think about, if you're a business owner or executive and you're trying to grow the value of the company to sell it, this app and having this framework in place makes it much easier to sell a company, and I'd argue at a higher value. Okay, so due diligence on acquisitions, something I used to do. It's super hard. You're trying to get a feel for how well a company's run. If you can actually show a buyer or an investor, hey, look, this is how we go from strategy to quarterly objectives, and here's all the execution, and you can see how we really do embrace org-wide transparency and engagement. It's live, it's happening in front of you. And as you go down, you can see the history of how we do things. And, not everything's perfect, but you can see it. That's the point, right? You can manage it if you can see it. And you can see how well everyone collaborates in this framework. And having all of that, instead of heaps of chat channels and heaps of workboards, you're trying to explain it all, just having all of that in front of the potential buyer as part of DD, hugely powerful. And you can also upsell into an acquiring entity saying, hey, we've got so good at this across our organization, we could actually help upsell this value into your acquiring entity and add more value over and above the immediate purchase price for this entity. So things to think about for exit or capital raising. This is a really valuable tool for due diligence. But what we're all about really is the people, the productivity, and just making our customers successful, and hence the framework and hence the features all in one place with more to come. Yeah, we've got a backlog of great ideas from customers, and we're busy working on those. Thanks for listening. Happy Sunday, and I hope you also get to enjoy a Colombian coffee at some point today.